Power has ruled my life for so long that I no longer remember when it first wrapped its claws around my spine. I sit on the dragon throne, and men tremble when I breathe. They bow, they obey, they fear me. Yet every morning, I wake alone. An emperor without an heir is a dying flame, one of my counselors says, his voice shaking despite years of service. The empire needs certainty. I stare at them in answer, the empire already has me. No one meets my eyes. Silence tells me I am losing this battle. Your Majesty, another counselor says carefully, the nobles grow restless. I lean forward. Then let them, I reply. I did not bleed for this throne to be rushed into breeding. The word disgusts me, but I hear it echoed in every breath they take. They do not see a man. They see a line that must continue. A dragon that must leave eggs behind. I clench my fists and say nothing, knowing they will keep pushing. That is when Lord Arvith steps forward. He is smaller than the others, thinner, his silk robe worn at the edges. I can solve this, he says. His voice cracks, but determination keeps it standing. I study him. Speak, I command. He swallows. My daughter, he says. She is of age. Pure blood. I offer her to you as wife. The room stills. I feel nothing. No curiosity. No interest. Only relief. A solution has presented itself. What do you want in return? I ask. He does not hesitate. Protection, he says. My lands are weak. My enemies circle like wolves. I nod slowly. You offer your daughter as a shield for your house. He lowers his head. I offer her to save us all. I do not ask her name. I do not ask what she wants. Draw the contract, I say to the scribe. I will sign. The council exhales as one, like prisoners granted air. As parchment is placed before me, one counselor dares to speak. Should you not meet her first, Your Majesty? I glance at him, cold. Is her face required to bear an heir? I ask. He pales. No, Emperor. I dip my quill into ink. Then her face does not matter. The words feel sharp, but I welcome that. Sharp things are honest. Soft things lie. I sign my name with a steady hand, sealing her fate and my own. Lord Arvith kneels. You are merciful, he says. I do not respond. Mercy has nothing to do with this. This is duty. This is survival. When the guards move to fetch the girl, I lean back and tell myself I have done nothing wrong. Empires are not built on feelings, I mutter. They are built on sacrifices. My voice echoes in the hall, and no one argues. That is how power works. It speaks, and others fall silent. She is brought in quietly. No announcement. No flourish. Just soft footsteps on stone. I look up and see her standing there, hands folded, head lowered. She is smaller than I imagined. Pale. Too still. Look at me, I say. She does, slowly. Her eyes are wide, dark, and full of fear she is trying desperately to hide. My chest tightens, but I ignore it. Fear is expected. Fear is acceptable. This is the Dragon Emperor, a counselor says unnecessarily. She bows deeply. I know, she whispers. Her voice is barely sound. I watch her shoulders shake. Do you understand why you are here? I ask. She nods. Yes, Your Majesty. No anger. No resistance. That unsettles me more than screaming would have. I glance at Lord Arvith. He will not look at her. Coward. You will be my wife, I say plainly. You will give me an heir. Her breath catches, just once. Yes, she says. The word feels like a knife sliding into place. I tell myself this is not cruelty. This is duty, I say aloud, for her benefit and mine. You will be honored. Protected. She nods again. Thank you, she whispers, and I feel something twist painfully inside my chest. The council begins discussing dates, ceremonies, alliances. Their voices blur together. I keep watching her. She does not cry. She does not plead. She stands there like something already broken. Take her to the inner chambers, I order. Guards move forward. She hesitates, then looks at me once more. There is a question in her eyes she does not dare ask. I look away. I cannot afford questions. When she is gone, the council relaxes. The Empire will sleep easier tonight, one of them says. I stand abruptly. This meeting is over, I snap. They scatter like leaves. Alone again, I stare at the contract on the table. My name is bold across the bottom. I press my palm against it, feeling the weight of the decision settle into my bones. I did what I had to do, I tell the empty hall. The hall does not answer. Power has always answered me before. Tonight, it feels silent. Heavy. Unforgiving. I do not know yet that this bargain will cost me everything I believe makes me strong. I only know that the ink is dry, the throne is safe, and somewhere in my palace, a girl waits for a fate I chose without knowing her face. I meet her again the next evening, not as a contract, not as an offering, but as my future wife. She stands in the solar where the light is soft and forgiving. I am neither. Come closer, I say. She does, slowly, eyes fixed on the floor. Your name, I tell her. Elira, she answers. Her voice is calm, too calm. Look at me when you speak, I say. She tries. Her gaze lifts for half a breath, then falls again. I'm sorry, she whispers. You have nothing to apologize for, I reply, though I do not know why I say it. Silence stretches. Do you fear me? I ask. She hesitates. Yes, she says honestly. But I will not shame you with it. That surprises me. You do not beg, I note. I was told not to, she says. Who told you that? I ask. My father. The word lands like stone. I circle her slowly. Raise your hands, I say. She obeys. The sleeves slip back, revealing faint bruises, yellowed with age. My jaw tightens. Explain, I demand. She stiffens. I fell, she says too quickly. More than once? I ask. She swallows. Please, she murmurs. It does not matter anymore. I let her lower her arms. You are wrong, I say. Everything matters. She flinches at that. Do you understand your duty? I ask. Yes, she replies. And your role? Yes. Speak it. She closes her eyes. To give you an heir. The words are steady, but her hands shake. I notice she curls her fingers inward, like she is trying to hide them. You will not be harmed here, I say. She nods, not trusting it. I will see to it, I add, unsure if I mean guards or myself. A maid enters quietly. Your Majesty, she says, bowing. I am Lisa. I will attend Lady Elira. Elira glances at her, relief flickering across her face. That small reaction tells me more than any confession could. See that she is treated with respect, I order. Lisa nods. Always. When I dismiss them, Elira bows deeply. Thank you for your mercy, she says. I almost correct her. Almost. That night, I cannot sleep. The bed feels too large, the shadows too sharp. I keep seeing her wrists. She was sold, I tell myself. Not stolen. The words taste bitter. I sit up, dragging a hand through my hair. This is not cruelty, I mutter. This is duty. The walls do not agree. They listen in silence, heavy and judging. I summon wine, but it does nothing. My thoughts return to her eyes, the way they slid away from mine. Fear, yes, but also resignation. I have seen prisoners beg for less. Why didn't you fight? I whisper to no one. I imagine her answer. Because fighting costs more than obedience. That answer angers me more than rebellion ever could. Near dawn, I walk the corridors. Guards stiffen as I pass. At ease, I tell them. I stop outside her chambers. Light spills from beneath the door. I hesitate, then knock once. Lisa opens it. Your Majesty, she says, startled. Is she awake? I ask. Yes, she answers. Elira steps forward. Did I do something wrong? She asks quickly. No, I say. I just wanted to speak. Lisa bows and retreats. The door closes. Elira stands there, uncertain. Sit, I say. She does. Do you know what happens if you fail? I ask. Her face pales. I will accept whatever punishment you decide, she says. I exhale slowly. That is not an answer, I reply. It is surrender. Her lips press together. Surrender is safer, she says quietly. I lean forward. Not here, I say. Not with me. She looks up, confused. You are not cruel, she says, as if convincing herself. You are just powerful. The words strike deeper than any insult. Power should not feel like this, I say. She tilts her head. Like what? I hesitate. Like something that hurts people who never chose it. She says nothing. She does not argue. That is what makes it worse. When I leave, the sky is pale with morning. I feel older than I did the night before. Power has always been heavy. I accepted that long ago. But now, it feels cruel. And I do not know how to set it down without everything collapsing around me. The wedding is held at dawn, because tradition says new empires begin with light. This one feels like a funeral dressed in gold. I stand before the altar in ceremonial armor, listening to priests recite words that mean nothing to me. Elira stands opposite, wrapped in white silk, hands folded, eyes lowered. There are no smiles. No vows. Only duty spoken aloud so the empire can hear it breathe again. Do you accept this union for the continuation of the throne? A priest asks me. I do, I answer, because the answer was decided long before the question. Do you accept this union and submit to the will of the Dragon Emperor? The priest asks her. I do, Elira says. Her voice does not shake. That frightens me more than tears would. The crowd murmurs approval. The council looks relieved. I look at her face and see nothing but quiet endurance. When the final words are spoken, a ring is placed on her finger. It looks too heavy. The bond is sealed, the priest declares. Applause rises like distant thunder. Elira flinches at the sound. I notice. I hate that I notice. The ceremony ends quickly. No kiss. No celebration. I turn and walk away first, because that is what emperors do. Behind me, I hear her footsteps, careful, measured, like she is afraid the ground might break if she moves too fast. In the halls, courtiers bow, whispering blessings they do not mean. May the heir come swiftly, one of them says. I nod once. Elira says nothing. That night, she waits in the bedchamber prepared for us. Candles burn low. I pause at the door, steadying my breath. This is necessary, I tell myself. This is what I was made for. I enter. She rises immediately. Your Majesty, she says. You may call me by my name, I reply. She hesitates. Elira, she says softly. I approach her, expecting fear, tension, resistance. Instead, she bows her head. I'm sorry, she says. The words stop me cold. For what? I ask. For being a burden, she answers. For taking what you did not want to give. My chest tightens. You were offered, I say. I accepted. She shakes her head. I know what I am, she says. I know why I'm here. That is enough, I say sharply. You owe me nothing. She looks up then, eyes wide. I owe you everything, she insists. My father said, she stops herself. What did he say? I ask. She swallows. That if I failed, you would cast me aside. That I should not anger you with weakness. I turn away, jaw clenched. You will not speak of failure, I say. Not tonight. She steps closer. I will do my duty, she says. I will not complain. Something inside me cracks at those words. Stop, I say. Stop apologizing for existing. She freezes. I don't know how, she whispers. The honesty in her voice leaves me unarmed. I look at her and realize she truly believes this suffering is her fault. Anger rises in me, sharp and sudden. Not at her. At myself. At the throne. At the man I have been pretending to be. Heirs matter more than feelings, I tell myself. I reach for her, then stop. My hand trembles. Why are you hesitating? She asks quietly. Do I disgust you? The question cuts deeper than any blade. No, I answer too quickly. Then why? She asks. I have no answer that will not destroy us both. Because I am angry, I say finally. At whom? She asks. At myself, I reply. She studies me, confused. You are the Dragon Emperor, she says. You are not allowed to doubt. I laugh bitterly. Then the Empire has lied to you, I say. I doubt everything tonight. She lowers herself onto the edge of the bed. If you wish to leave, she says, I will understand. The words feel like permission and accusation all at once. I step back. I should not feel this, I mutter. This hesitation. She looks at me gently. Feeling is not weakness, she says. It is surviving. I shake my head. Survival is obedience, I argue. That is what I was taught. She meets my eyes. Then we were taught the same lie, she says. Silence fills the room. The candles flicker. I realize if I stay, I will cross a line I cannot uncross. Not physically. Emotionally. I turn away. Rest, I say. Tomorrow will come soon. Her voice follows me. Thank you, she says again. I do not respond. I leave the chamber untouched. The door closes behind me with a final sound that echoes through my bones. In the corridor, I stop and press my hand to the wall. You failed, I whisper. You failed at being what they needed. Yet part of me feels relief. Another part feels terror. I walk away knowing one truth I cannot escape. I am already failing the role I thought defined me. Weeks pass, measured not by days but by glances from the council and silences from the throne. There is no news, one counselor says during another closed meeting. That is news, another snaps. I say nothing. They watch me closely now, counting breaths, reading shadows. Patience, I finally tell them. An heir is not forged like a sword. Their faces tell me they do not agree. Outside those meetings, my life changes in small, dangerous ways. I begin spending time with Alira. Not as husband and wife. Not as emperor and offering. We talk. We sit across from each other with cups of cooling tea. What are you reading? I ask one afternoon. She looks up, startled. Histories, she says. The old ones. Why? I ask. She shrugs. They remind me that empires fall. I laugh softly. Careful, I say. That kind of thinking is treason. She smiles, just barely. Only if spoken aloud. I learn she feeds injured dragons in the lower caverns. They listen better than people, she tells me. They don't pretend. I follow her once, watching as a massive creature lowers its head for her touch. It would burn others for less, I say. It knows I won't hurt it, she replies. The dragon huffs softly, like agreement. Something shifts inside me. Dragons do not lie. She flinches when voices rise. I notice it during a council dinner when two lords argue. Her shoulders tense, breath shallow. You're safe, I murmur without thinking. She looks at me, surprised. I know, she says, though her hands remain clenched. Later, alone, I ask, raised voices bother you? She hesitates. They usually come before pain, she answers. I say nothing, because anything I say would be too late. The council's patience thins. Your Majesty, one says sharply, the Empire whispers. Let it, I reply. Whispers are quieter than rebellion. Another leans forward. Or louder, he says. I end the meeting early. In the corridor, I hear them mutter. The throne is cracking, someone says. I stop walking. Be careful, I warn without turning. Silence follows. They are afraid again. That should satisfy me. It doesn't. I find myself standing between Alira and danger without meaning to. When a lord insults her lineage, I cut him off. You will show respect, I say coldly. Or you will leave. He stares at me, shocked. Later, Alira asks, why did you do that? I answer honestly. Because he was wrong. She studies me. You didn't have to, she says. I wanted to, I reply. The truth feels exposed and dangerous. I confront her father privately, summoning him under the guise of routine matters. You seem restless, I say, watching him shift. The burden of alliance, he replies. He will not meet my eyes. Tell me about Alira's childhood, I say casually. His fingers twitch. Uneventful, he answers too quickly. You raised a very obedient daughter, I say. I taught her discipline, he says. At what cost? I ask. He stiffens. Everything has a cost, Your Majesty. I dismiss him with a nod, my suspicion burning hotter than any flame. That night, I cannot shake the feeling. I pace my chamber, replaying his evasions, her bruises, her flinches. Something is wrong, I mutter. Power has always felt solid, unyielding beneath my feet. Now it feels like stone beginning to fracture. I summon Kale at dawn. He arrives silently, as always. You asked for me, he says. I did, I reply. I want you to investigate Lord Arvith. Kale raises a brow. Quietly, he asks. Very, I say. No counsel. No records. He nods. What am I looking for? He asks. I hesitate. Everything, I answer. Especially what he did not want me to see. Kale studies me for a moment. This concerns the Empress, he says. It concerns the throne, I reply. He inclines his head. Then I will find the truth. After he leaves, I go to Alira. She looks up from her book. You look troubled, she says. I am, I admit. Did I do something wrong? She asks immediately. No, I say firmly. Never think that. She exhales, relieved. Then what is it? She asks. I consider lying. I consider protecting her with silence. I'm afraid, I say instead. She blinks. Of what? She asks. I meet her eyes. Of what I might learn. She reaches out, stopping just short of touching my hand. Truth hurts, she says softly. But lies rot. I nod slowly. For the first time since taking the throne, I understand fear. Not of enemies. Not of rebellion. Fear of discovering that the empire I built stands on something rotten. Fear that the first crack has already formed beneath my feet. Kale does not knock. He never does when the news will cut. He steps into my chamber and closes the door behind him. Say it, I tell him before he can speak. Say it quickly. He does not rush me. Lord Arvith knew, he says. The words land softly and destroy everything. Knew what? I ask, though my chest already aches. That Lady Alira cannot bear children, Kale answers. It was confirmed years ago. I laugh once, sharp and hollow. You're lying, I say. Kale meets my eyes. I never lie to you, he replies. Not about this. My hands curl into fists. Say it again, I demand. Say it slowly. He does. She cannot conceive. The physicians told her father. He sold her anyway. Rage explodes through me, hot and blind. I sweep everything off the table. Get out, I growl. Now. Kale bows his head. What will you do? He asks quietly. I don't know, I answer. That is the most terrifying truth of all. When he leaves, the silence roars. A womb, I whisper. That's all they saw. I pace, dragging my hands through my hair. And I agreed, I snarl. I signed my name. My anger twists inward, then outward, then everywhere at once. I summon guards. Bring Alira to me, I command. My voice shakes. Now. They obey instantly. She enters minutes later, pale, composed, already bracing for impact. You asked for me, she says. I do not soften my tone. Did you know? I ask. She freezes. Know what? She asks, though her eyes betray her. Don't lie, I snap. Did you know you could not give me an heir? Her shoulders sag. Silence stretches. Then she nods. Yes, she whispers. Something in me shatters completely. How long? I demand. Since I was 15, she answers. And your father? I ask. He knew, she says. He always knew. I turn away, pressing my palms against the wall. Why didn't you tell me? I ask. Why didn't you run? Her voice cracks. There was nowhere to run, she says. And if I told you, I thought you would kill me. I spin back to her. You thought I would execute you? I ask. She nods, tears spilling now. That is what happens to broken things, she says. The word broken tears through me. You are not broken, I snap. You were lied to, she replies. So were you. She sinks to her knees suddenly. Please, she says. I accept my punishment. Just don't punish the people who serve me. My anger collapses into horror. Stand up, I say. She does not move. Stand up, I repeat, louder. She flinches but obeys. You thought your life ended the moment I learned the truth, I say. Yes, she answers honestly. I expected death. Or exile. Or worse. My voice shakes. And yet you stayed. She wipes her face. I stayed because I owed you, she says. Because my father traded me. Because you paid the price. No, I say harshly. He did. She looks at me, confused. I signed the contract, I continue. I took what he offered. She shakes her head. You took what he forced, she says. That matters. I laugh bitterly. Not to the throne. She steps closer, careful. Does it matter to you? She asks. The question guts me. I sink into a chair. I don't know who I am right now, I admit. I thought I wanted an heir. She nods. I know. I thought that was my purpose, I continue. To continue a bloodline. She swallows. And now, she asks. I look at her trembling hands. Now I'm furious, I say. Not because you can't give me a child. She looks down. Then why, she whispers. Because the world decided you were worthless before you ever met me, I say. She gasps softly. That isn't, she begins. It is, I interrupt. They broke you and called it fate. Her tears fall freely now. I tried to be useful, she says. I tried to be enough. The words break something open in my chest. You were enough, I say fiercely. You were always enough. She looks at me like she doesn't believe it. If that's true, she asks, why am I still afraid? I stand and step toward her. Because fear was beaten into you, I say. And I didn't see it soon enough. She shakes her head. This isn't your fault, she insists. It is, I reply. I was angry about heirs. I never asked about you. She reaches for my sleeve, then stops herself. I didn't want you to ask, she admits. I didn't want hope. Hope. The word burns. I don't know what happens next, I say. Neither do I, she replies. But I will leave if you wish. I look at her sharply. Do you want to? I ask. She thinks for a long moment. No, she says quietly. I just don't know if I'm allowed to stay. I exhale slowly. You are, I say. And no one will touch you. She covers her mouth, sobbing. Why? She asks. I answer without hesitation. Because I am not angry about the heir anymore. She looks up. Then what are you angry about? I meet her eyes. That they broke you before I ever touched you, I say. Silence falls between us, heavy and final. And in that silence, I know the truth has shattered me, but it has also changed me forever. The council meets 3 days later, and I lie to their faces without flinching. Progress is being made, I say calmly. You will be informed when there is news. One counselor leans forward. Your Majesty, the Empire grows restless. I meet his gaze. Then teach it patience, I reply. Another opens his mouth, then closes it when I raise my hand. Power still listens to me. That is the problem. When the doors close behind them, my pulse hammers in my ears. I have lied before, but never like this. Not to protect myself. To protect her. You have crossed a line, I tell my reflection later. The reflection does not look afraid. It looks resolved. That unsettles me more than guilt ever could. Rumors spread anyway. Servants whisper. Nobles speculate. The Empress is cursed, someone mutters in a corridor. I have the man dismissed before sunset. You didn't have to do that, Elira says when she hears. I did, I answer. Words are weapons here. She studies me. And you're using yourself as a shield, she says. I do not deny it. Pressure increases daily. A timeline, the council demands. Reassurance, they insist. I give them vague answers and colder stares. Each lie feels heavier than the last. You're risking everything, Kale warns me privately. I know, I reply. And you're still doing it, he says. Yes, I answer. He nods once. He understands more than he says. Elira grows quieter as the tension mounts. One evening, she comes to me pale and composed in a way I recognize too well. I need to speak with you, she says. Go on, I reply. I will leave, she says simply. The words hit like a blade. No, I say instantly. You must, she insists. The council will destroy you if this continues. I step closer. I won't let them, I say. They will, she replies softly. And I won't be the reason. You are not a reason, I snap. You are a person. She shakes her head. Not to them, she says. Not to history. She meets my eyes. If I disappear, the pressure ends. I feel something cold grip my chest. That is not protection, I say. That is sacrifice. She lowers her gaze. I was raised for it, she answers. I take a breath, forcing my voice steady. Listen to me, I say. I will not trade you for peace. She flinches. Even if it costs you the throne, she asks. The question hangs between us. If that is the cost, I say slowly, then yes. Her eyes fill with tears. You shouldn't, she whispers. I already have, I reply. She steps back, trembling. Then let me die, she says suddenly. A public execution. An accident. Something clean. The room goes silent. Never say that again, I growl. She winces. I don't want to hurt you, she pleads. You won't, I say. Because I won't allow it. She covers her face, breaking. I don't know how to be protected, she sobs. I only know how to endure. I reach out and stop myself inches from her shoulder. Then learn, I say quietly. Because I am choosing you. She looks up. Why, she asks again, the question she always asks. Because I lied for you, I say. And that means something. She laughs weakly. You lied to an empire, she says. For me. Yes, I reply. And I would do it again. The silence between us shifts. It is no longer sharp. It is heavy with meaning. I thought I was a burden, she admits. You were never that, I say. You were a responsibility I accepted without understanding. She tilts her head. And now, she asks. Now you are my choice, I answer. The words feel final. Dangerous. True. That night, as I sit alone, I realize power no longer feels like armor. It feels like a blade pressed to my own throat. Every lie tightens it. Every truth risks everything. This is what ruling really is, I murmur. Not domination. Not fear. A test of what I am willing to lose. When I look at Alira now, I do not see a solution or a secret. I see the first thing I have chosen that the throne did not demand. And I know, without doubt, that this lie will cost me dearly. But it is the first lie I have ever told that feels like the truth. I summon Lord Arvith at dusk, when shadows stretch long enough to hide fear. He enters my private chamber alone, bowing low, hands shaking. You wish to see me, Your Majesty, he says. I gesture to the chair. Sit, I reply. He hesitates, then obeys. This is not a formal audience, I say. This is a reckoning. He swallows hard. I don't understand, he says. You will, I answer. Tell me why you sold your daughter. The words hit him like a blow. His eyes dart to the door. I did not sell her, he says weakly. I made a necessary alliance. I lean forward. You traded her body for protection, I say. Call it what it is. He grips the arms of the chair. You are the Dragon Emperor, he says. You wanted an heir. I wanted honesty, I reply. He exhales sharply. We were ruined, he says. My lands were dying. Our coffers empty. Enemies closing in. So you sacrificed your child, I say. He lifts his chin. I chose survival. The word disgusts me. Did you know she could not bear children? I ask. His silence answers me. Did you know? I repeat. Yes, he whispers. Then you lied, I say. To me. To her. To the Empire. He spreads his hands. What choice did I have? He asks desperately. Fate is cruel. Poverty is cruel. Fear is cruel. No, I snap. You were cruel. He flinches. I raised her to obey, he says. To endure. My voice drops. You raised her to disappear. He opens his mouth, then closes it. There is no regret in his eyes. Only calculation. You will lose your title, I say. Your lands. Your protection. He stiffens. You can't, he protests. I can, I reply. And I will. His voice rises. You'll condemn me to death, he says. No, I answer coldly. I will condemn you to living. He stares at me, confused. You will walk this world knowing what you gave up, I continue. You will know she is safe without you. That is your punishment. He drops to his knees. Please, he begs. She was always meant for more than our house. Rage flares. She was meant to be loved, I roar. Guards step forward instinctively. I raise a hand. Leave us, I command. They obey. Lord Arvith trembles. I did what fathers do, he whispers. No, I say quietly. You did what cowards do. I turn away. Get out, I tell him. Before I remember how easily I could end you. He scrambles to his feet and flees. I stand alone, breathing hard, hands shaking. It's done, I tell myself. It does not feel done. Something still burns. I hear a sound behind me. A soft gasp. I turn. Elira stands in the doorway. Her face is white, eyes wide. She heard everything. Elira, I say softly. She takes a step forward, then collapses. I catch her before she hits the floor. I didn't know, she sobs. I didn't know he would say it like that. I hold her, feeling her shake. I'm sorry, she cries. I'm so sorry. You did nothing wrong, I say fiercely. She clutches my robe. I wanted him to love me, she whispers. The words break me. I pull her closer. He lost that right, I say. She shakes her head. I still wanted it, she admits. Her grief is raw, unguarded. I feel her tears soak into my sleeve. I do not pull away. I hold her tighter. I should have seen it sooner, I say. I should have stopped it. She looks up at me. You did, she says. You stopped it now. I rest my forehead against hers. I chose wrong once, I whisper. I won't again. She nods, trusting me with something fragile and terrifying. We sit on the floor like that for a long time. No emperor. No empress. Just two people breathing through pain. What happens to him? She asks finally. He lives, I answer. She closes her eyes. That's worse, she murmurs. I kiss her hair gently, without thinking. That's justice, I say. When she finally sleeps, her head against my chest, I realize this is the first time I have held her without obligation or fear. I am not the Dragon Emperor in this moment. I am simply a man who understands too late what power costs. And I swear silently that no throne, no legacy, will ever demand this kind of sacrifice again. The council does not bother with patience anymore. They storm into the chamber like judges who have already reached a verdict. This cannot continue, one of them says. The Empire is watching. Another follows quickly. Whispers have turned into accusations. I sit still, hands resting on the arms of the throne. About me? I ask. About your wife, he corrects. Say her name, I snap. The room stiffens. Elira, he says reluctantly. There are claims, another counselor adds, that she has cursed the bloodline. I laugh once, sharp and humorless. Witchcraft, I say. That's what you've settled on? A third counselor slams his hand on the table. You hide something, he shouts. And the Empire bleeds for it. You speak boldly, I reply coldly. Because we are desperate, he answers. No heir. No future. I rise slowly. You confuse blood with loyalty, I say. The people will not, another argues. They will revolt, he continues. Unless this problem is removed. The word hangs heavy. Removed. Elira is not present, but I feel the threat like a blade at her throat. You threaten rebellion, I say softly. We warn you, one counselor replies. Choose wisely. I step down from the throne. Summon the court, I order. Now. Murmurs erupt. This is madness, someone says. You're inviting chaos, another warns. I smile thinly. Chaos is already here, I say. I'm just done pretending otherwise. The great hall fills quickly. Nobles, guards, servants, all whispering. Elira stands at my side, pale but upright. You don't have to do this, she whispers. I do, I reply. Stand with me. She nods, trembling but steady. A counselor steps forward. The Empress is unfit, he announces. Gasps ripple through the hall. She has failed her duty, another adds. She endangers the throne. I raise my hand. Silence falls. Elira is my Empress, I say clearly. Not because she can give me heirs. The room stirs. But because she is my wife. Outrage explodes. You defy tradition, someone shouts. You doom us, another cries. I turn to them, voice firm. I choose truth, I say. Over fear. Over lies. Over your hunger for control. One counselor steps closer. Then you will fall, he says. I look at Elira. Her eyes shine with unshed tears. If I fall, I say loudly, I fall standing beside her. The hall goes silent again, stunned. This throne, I continue, means nothing without conviction. I feel lighter speaking the words. Power without honor is hollow. The council recoils. You would risk everything? One asks. Yes, I answer. Because I already did. I take Elira's hand. She squeezes back, grounding me. This empire will learn, I say, that worth is not measured in wombs. Some look away. Others glare. A few nod, uncertain but listening. You will regret this, a counselor warns. Perhaps, I reply. But not today. Guards shift uneasily. No one moves against me. Not yet. The hall buzzes with shock, anger, awe. I turn to Elira. Go, I murmur. I'll handle what comes next. She shakes her head. No, she says. If you fall, I fall too. Her words steady me more than any crown ever has. I faced the court one last time. This is my decree, I announce. Challenge it if you dare. I turn and walk out with her beside me, leaving the council shouting behind us. The throne room doors slam shut, echoing like thunder. In the quiet corridor, I finally breathe. Power no longer feels like armor. It feels like fire in my veins, dangerous and alive. I glance at Elira. She looks afraid, but not alone. For the first time, neither am I. The warning comes as a whisper against my ear. Move, Elira says. Not loudly. Not desperately. Just enough. I turn without thinking, and the blade meant for my throat slices only air. Steel rings as guards react, but I already know this is no random attack. Traitors, I snarl. Elira grips my sleeve. There's more, she says. Her voice is steady, terrifyingly so. Another shadow lunges from the pillars. Down, she says again. I pull her with me as arrows shatter against stone where my head had been. The hall erupts in chaos. Protect the Emperor, someone shouts. I hear screams, metal, panic. Through it all, Elira does not scream. She stays close, guiding me through instinct I don't understand. Left, she murmurs. Now. We burst into the open courtyard. Moonlight floods everything. The assassins follow, reckless now. I draw my blade. Stay behind me, I tell her. No, she answers. They're not finished. The words barely leave her mouth when a roar splits the night. Not one dragon. Many. The sound shakes stone and bone alike. Flames light the sky as massive shapes descend. Guards freeze. Assassins falter. I stare upward, stunned. They shouldn't be here, I mutter. Dragons do not answer summons. They choose. One lands between us and the attackers, its wings throwing heat and wind. Elira steps forward before I can stop her. Elira. I shout. She raises a hand, palm open. It's all right, she says softly. The dragon lowers its head. Not in submission. In recognition. Another lands. Then another. The assassins flee, weapons clattering. No one pursues them. No one dares. I stand there, breathless, watching the impossible unfold. Why are they listening to you? I whisper. Elira shakes her head. I don't know, she says. I never asked them to. The largest dragon huffs, smoke curling from its nostrils. Elira places her hand on its scaled brow. You're hurt, she murmurs. I see the wound then, an old scar, poorly healed. She tends to it gently, as if she has done this 1,000 times. The dragon closes its eyes. Around us, guards kneel without being told. Whispers spread like wildfire. She saved him, someone breathes. The dragons chose her, another says. Not her, I correct quietly. Us. By morning, the story has grown wings of its own. The Empress warned him, they say. She stood unarmed. The dragons protected them. I hear it all from Kale as he reports, eyes alight. The people are talking, he says. Not about heirs. About what? I ask. He smiles faintly. Loyalty. The council is silent for once. Fear has replaced arrogance. An attempt on my life was made, I tell them coldly. And it failed. One opens his mouth. Careful, I warn. He closes it. Elira stands beside me, calm, unbowed. The dragons chose, I continue. You will not question that. No one does. Later, alone with Elira, I finally let the tension drain from my body. You saved me, I say. You listened, she replies. That's all. I take her hands, noticing they no longer shake. You were never the danger, I tell her. You were the warning. She smiles softly. Then maybe that's enough, she says. That night, I walk the ramparts and look out over the city. Fires glow warmly, not with fear, but vigilance. People stand watch together. Legacy, I murmur. It isn't blood. It's this. Choice. Courage. Impact. For the first time, the future does not feel like a threat. It feels like something waiting to be shaped. The council chamber smells like fear. I recognize it now, sharp and sour, clinging to silken stone. Speak, I say, standing instead of sitting. This is your last chance. No one rushes to answer. The men who once shouted now stare at the floor. You plotted against the throne, I continue. Against me. Against my wife. A counselor drops to his knees. Mercy, he begs. We were trying to protect the empire. By murdering its emperor? I ask. He flinches. We were afraid, another says. Fear explains nothing, I reply. It only reveals who you are. Kale steps forward, scrolls in hand. Names, he says. Orders. Payments. I nod. Read them. As he does, the room fractures. One man sobs. Another shouts denial. Lies, a third screams. Enough, I say, and silence obeys. You taught this empire that power comes from blood, I tell them. You taught it to trade people like coins. I gesture to Alira at my side. She meets their eyes without shrinking. That ends today. One counselor crawls forward. We can fix this, he pleads. We can still crown an heir. I laugh, low and tired. You still don't understand, I say. There will be no bargain. Sentences fall swiftly. Titles stripped. Estates seized. Exile for some. Imprisonment for others. Please, a man whispers as guards take him. I served your father. Then you learned nothing, I answer. When it is done, the chamber is empty but for me, Alira, and the echoes. Was that cruel? She asks quietly. I shake my head. No, I say. It was clear. Outside, the city waits. I step onto the balcony with Alira beside me. Hear me, I call. The crowd stills. Old power has fallen, I say. Not to chaos. To truth. Murmurs ripple. No one will be punished for their birth, I continue. No one will be owned for their worth. I feel Alira's hand brush mine. I take it openly. After, in the quiet, she exhales. I didn't hide, she says, almost surprised. You didn't have to, I reply. You stood. She smiles, a real one. I think I'm done surviving, she says. I think so too, I answer. We walk the halls together, and for the first time, the palace feels like a place we live in, not endure. The law is announced at midday, when the city is awake enough to hear it breathe. I stand before the gathered court, Alira at my side, Kale a step behind us. Succession will no longer be decided by blood, I say. The words fall like thunder. It will be decided by merit. By service. By loyalty to the empire. Gasps ripple outward. Someone laughs in disbelief. Someone else shouts. I let them. This truth deserves noise. A noble steps forward. You would end dynasties, he accuses. I would end decay, I reply. Another yells, this will tear the empire apart. I meet his eyes. It already was, I say calmly. The crowd surges with argument, fear, hope. I feel Alira's fingers tighten around mine. Stay, I murmur. I'm here, she whispers back. The days that follow are chaos wrapped in debate. Provinces protest. Guilds argue. Soldiers wait. They'll never accept it, a council aide mutters. They already are, Kale answers quietly. He's right. The noise shifts. Fear gives way to questions. Questions give way to ideas. If not blood, then who do people ask? Those who earn it, I answer. The answer spreads. That night, Alira finally breaks. We are alone when she sinks to the floor, hands over her face. I failed you, she sobs. You needed an heir. I kneel before her. Look at me, I say. She doesn't. Look at me, I repeat, gentler. She does, eyes red and raw. You did not fail me, I say. You saved me. She shakes her head. I broke your line, she whispers. No, I answer. You broke my chains. She laughs weakly through tears. You're lying, she says. I lied to the council, I reply. I'm not lying now. I take her hands. I was becoming something I hated, I tell her. You stopped that. She stares at me. By being broken, she asks. By surviving, I correct. And by choosing kindness when the world taught you fear. She wipes her face. Then what am I to you, she asks. The question trembles between us. My partner, I say. My equal. She inhales sharply. Not a duty, she asks. Not a debt, I reply. A choice. Silence stretches, then softens. She leans into me. Then choose me, she says. I answer. Every day. That night, we seal nothing with ceremony. No witnesses. No crowns. Just two people deciding to stay. When I hold her, there is no fear in her body, only warmth. I don't feel owned, she whispers. Good, I say. Because you never were. Outside, the city hums, alive with change. Inside, I feel something settle at last. The empire will have heirs. Just not the ones it expected. I stand alone in the throne room long after the court has emptied. The banners hang still. The dragon throne waits behind me, silent and patient, like it always has. I remember the man I was when I signed that contract. An heir above all, I told myself. Legacy above mercy. I had believed power would fill the hollow space inside me. It never did. You're thinking too loudly again, Alira says behind me. I turn. She is no longer pale. No longer folded inward. She walks like she belongs here, not because anyone placed her here, but because she chose to stay. Am I? I ask. You are, she replies, smiling faintly. You always do when you're remembering who you used to be. I was empty, I say. I thought emptiness was strength. She steps beside me, looking up at the throne. You were surviving, she says. Just like I was. I shake my head. I was worse, I admit. I didn't know I was hurting people. She looks at me sharply. You know now, she says. That's what matters. We walk together, our footsteps echoing. Do you regret it? She asks. The law? The council? All of it? I stop. No, I answer. I regret who I was before you forced me to look. She frowns. I didn't force you, she says. You did, I reply. You survived long enough for me to see. She touches my arm. They still whisper, she says. About heirs. I nod. They always will, I say. Let them. She hesitates. What if they're right? She asks softly. What if the empire needs blood? I turn to her fully. The empire needs people who choose it, I say. Not bodies it owns. She studies my face, searching. You're not afraid anymore, she says. I am, I answer. Just not of the future. I take her hands. I was afraid of losing power, I say. Now I'm afraid of becoming what I was again. She squeezes my fingers. Then don't, she says simply. That night, we sit on the balcony overlooking the city. Lanterns glow below like scattered stars. They call you the Dragon Emperor who broke tradition, she says. Do they? I ask. Some call you worse, she admits. I laugh quietly. Good, I say. It means they're paying attention. She leans against me. What do you want them to remember? She asks. I think for a long moment. That I chose wrong once, I say. And learned from it. She tilts her head. That's all? That's everything, I reply. Power teaches you that mistakes must be hidden. Love teaches you they must be faced. She is quiet, then she nods. Do you ever wish things were different? She asks. That you had your heir? I close my eyes briefly. I wish I had understood sooner, I say. But no. I did not lose anything worth keeping. She exhales shakily. I'm glad, she whispers. So am I answer. Later, when the palace sleeps, she rests her head against my chest. Promise me something, she says. Anything, I reply. Promise you won't turn me into a symbol, she says. Or a lesson. I lift her chin gently. I promise you will never be owned again, I say. Not by law. Not by fear. Not by me. She smiles, real and unguarded. Then I'll stay, she says. Not because I must. Because you choose to, I finish. She nods. Because I choose to. I look once more at the throne before we leave the balcony. It no longer feels like the center of my world. It feels like a responsibility I carry, not a god I serve. I didn't gain an heir, I murmur. Elira looks at me. You gained a future, she says. And a conscience, I add. She laughs softly. And love, she says. Yes, I agree. That too. When dawn comes, the Empire wakes to a dragon emperor who no longer hides behind armor made of fear. I walk beside my empress, not ahead of her. And as the light fills the hall, I know exactly what I became. Not a ruler who owns, but a man who chooses.